Hey everybody, how's everyone doing today? Hopefully am I shocking you a little bit? Look at this new look. What do you think? Man. As always, let me know how the video is. Video and audio for all A-OK. It is like it's like doom and gloom over here in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's crazy. Now let me turn my lights down a little bit. I'm a little hot. There we go. It's like Armageddon outside. It's crazy. It's like orange, although I guess it's toned down a little bit. But earlier this morning, like around 8, 9 o'clock, even up to 10 o'clock this morning, it was like orange. Like you went outside, like because of all the smoke. There's like a fire, like it's probably like 3-4 hours away from me. But the winds have just brought all the smoke and the ash. Like our cars all have like this thin layer of ash over it. It's kind of crazy. So it's pretty far away. So I've gotten quite a few notes asking, people asking if everything's good. We're good. But it does look like Armageddon outside. Akin to 2020. Welcome to 2020, right? So as you see, boom, clean shaven. Although I was gonna shave again this morning because I got the 5 o'clock shadow, but got my ears lowered, as they say, right? Got a new haircut and got some new glasses. So man, we're looking all new today. Where are the zombies? Exactly. Cool. I guess the audio is good since you all can. Yep, everyone says it's good, smooth, sweet. I'm loving this new Restream setup. I think the quality of the video when it goes through there is better, and yeah, I love having the little chat thing down there at the bottom over there. Man, I always forget it's opposite to where I'm at, right? So today we are going to be going through some users' websites. So Elizabeth on the community, I think it was last week, asked, hey, submit your websites. If you want some advice or you have some issues, let us know. And while we did answer them on the community, I thought it would be fun. We could do a live stream and kind of go over all those websites live and give you some of my feedback. So thank you. Just quick. Thanks for Mr. Cole and Erwin, and I think I saw Bill and Marin, Scott here, Mr. Powers, Mixed Kit, cool, from Montreal, Canada. Thanks for coming. Mr. Workman's here. Roy, thanks for coming in, Roy. Excellent. Pam, ooh, Pam, we're going to be going over your site quite a bit today. So good thing I was hoping you were going to be here. So we're going to be chatting about Pam's website too. Sweet. Let's start jumping on in. Okay, I gotta move this window over here. I fixed my Zoom little tool too because it wasn't working the past couple weeks, so I figured that out. Actually, in one of the OS 10 updates, they actually updated some of the things, the system preferences for that Zoom tool that I use. So they added some more options that at least I wasn't aware of them. So let's go ahead and switch to screen sharing. Whoop. There we go. Okay, so we're going to be going over 4 different sites today. Oh, shoot, I closed the, hold on one second. Is it this one? The thread we're going to be looking at here, it's actually a pinned thread on Foundation 6. All right, this thread right here. Let's just open up just that thread. Okay, so this is a thread that was started, it looks like a little over a week ago, and a couple people decided they wanted to get some advice. And again, like I said, we're going to be going over all this today. And then if we have time, if you want to chuck in a website and you want some quick feedback, if we have time at the end, I'll happily do that too. Okay, so first off, let's go over Marin's website. Okay, Marin, I always call you Marin. I could be completely butchering your name. I'm sorry. If you want to send me a message on how to properly say your name, I would love it because I actually prefer learning how people pronounce their names and saying it right. Because like for example, if I went somewhere and someone called me Ho instead of Joe, I wouldn't like that, right? Okay. So this is a beautiful website. Okay. It's currently under development. But I think it is absolutely lovely. Now I saw a couple feedback. Actually, if we want to look at it at mobile view, some people were a little confused having the menu directly next to this icon. It kind of looks like, is it part of it? I think they're right. I think there's a couple things you could do. Put the logo, maybe separate them so they're not all in the middle, right next to each other, is one thing you could do. Or put the logo over here, have the menu over here, something like that. Or differentiate the two with color, right? So like maybe you can make this menu item red or something like that, right? So that it kind of stands out a little bit better. Okay. So that's one thing on mobile. I think the layout on mobile, and, a lot of people are concerned obviously with layouts on mobile. How can they, get it looking great? I think you've done a nice job here. Everything is still very readable. Things are, one thing I always look at is does content go straight to the edge, right? Because that makes it difficult to read especially when you're on a phone, right? So you want to have a little bit of buffer in between the edge of your content, okay? Unless it's an image, images can go, full width, and I think those still look just fine. Like you have the one up here with the banner. One thing that's also nice when you go to the site here, especially on mobile, you kind of get this nice hero header up at the top. The menu's kind of hidden, and you definitely get the point of what the website is once you go on the splash, on the homepage, right? So I think that's great. Let's preview the rest of the site on desktop, and I'm going to praise you for a few other things. I think the imagery is great. I love that you have the overlay, which kind of helps separate the text with the images, right? I also think that it looks like you also have a drop shadow on this header, okay? And that is another thing that is a great thing to do, especially when you have it on top of an image, even with an overlay, is it adds even more separation, right? It doesn't need to be a super strong shadow, but yeah, just even it's interesting to see how much just even like a 1 pixel or like even like a 10% transparent shadow will help it pop when you're on top of an image or with an overlay, right? So yeah, good job on that. I love the slideshow. I assume this is Impact. I haven't even looked, but yeah, it's probably Impact, I assume. Now, there's one quirky, interesting thing that I love about this site, and many of you probably already see it, and that is this kind of this dotted or this this textured border that you have on a lot of things, right? And it's a really simple concept. It's just a border, people, right? So if you look here, I believe this is just a container. I kind of inspected this a little earlier just to make sure that I knew how you did it, and I was right. He just has a 7-pixel border up at the top, right? And if we look at the border, it's just a dotted border, a 7-pixel dotted border at the top. That's all it is, right? So something very interesting like this, you could do this this is a Foundation 6 site, and you could do this easily with a border swatch, right? You want to add this accented top. It's just a 7-pixel dotted border, right? Here he has it on the right, and he has it on the right as well over here. So again, this is just a border swatch that I guess I can kind of show you this. I thought this was an interesting, really simple concept that you could do. Not sure what I have in the sandbox project, but let's go ahead and do it. So like right here, you would just create a border swatch and just say like, I don't know, let's create a class like dotted dash right. Okay. And if we just do, actually we need to do detailed. Actually, we just do a simple color, right? Just do a simple color of navy blue. Okay. Or here, we'll do red just so you can see it really easily. Okay. Border size, we'll do simple. Actually, we want to do detailed, and we want them all 0 except the right is going to be 7, right? So he had a 7-pixel, and the style is going to be dotted. Boop. So if you see there is our dotted right border, and whatever I add that to this class is now going to get that accent, right? So if I just take this, let's just add it to, I guess, this container. Okay. We did that. Now all of a sudden my container has this accented border, right? So really, really simple to do. It's just a border with some dots, right? And obviously when you make it 7 pixels, it makes those dots really, really big. So yeah, great concept. I thought it was brilliant. Really super simple. But as you see, it just makes the site, it gives it kind of a quirkiness and a unique style into itself, just by doing something simple by adding a dotted border. So really good job there. So Marin in the chat says that he targeted all of the image border at once using an element. Oh, okay. So what he's saying is he wanted, on all of the images, he wanted to target them all with every image on the page with that 7 pixel border on the right. So what he was saying he did is, instead of using a class, what he did is he did element, and then I assume he used image. I assume I have an image in here somewhere. All images, right? So basically any image on the page now will get that border. Now, so that's simple. So whenever he adds an image to the page, it will automatically get that. So that ensures that, every image when he adds it to the page will get this. Pretty simple. So this is a little more global setting of a way to do that. So, again, this is targeting all images on the page. If you only wanted to target specific images, you could also use that class method that we used earlier. So thanks for sharing, Marin. I appreciate that. He also asks, I must say I sometimes struggle a bit getting the different menus right. Can you show me how to do that? Top bar, title bar, and yes, it says it's impact. Okay, so he struggles sometimes with top bar and title bar, and I think a problem with that. Actually, I watched someone build a menu the other day, and they did something, and I was like, oh yeah, I should change the default settings in top bar. Let's say, for example, so in top bar, if we add top bar to a page, what is wrong is that title bar is not enabled by default. Okay, and I think most people expect it to be enabled by default, and I think that throws people off. Okay. So I that is definitely one thing that I will be changing in an update. It won't modify any existing instances that you have out there, but by default the title bar will be enabled in top bar. So because I feel people definitely expect I don't have a menu in there. Hold on, let me just chuck a menu in there really quick. Let's just throw menu. Okay. People definitely expect that behavior, especially since that was the default behavior of top bar when we were in Foundation 1, right? So I think that does throw some people off. When they add a top bar stack to the page, title bar is not enabled by default, and it should be. I do think that is a better default value for that. So in the next Foundation update, I don't know, this week is going really quick, so it might be next week, but whenever the next Foundation update comes out, that will definitely be it. Okay. In terms of figuring out what menu, like how to transform menus, I guess I do have a specific video on that on the Foundation YouTube channel, or on Weaverspace YouTube channel. There's a Foundation playlist, or you can just go to the Foundation product page, and I have a specific video on each individual menu type. They're pretty specific on how to use each one, right? So I think what some people get confused with is you always want to, whatever type of menu, if you want to transform a menu, the type of menu that you want to add to the page is what is on mobile. Remember, Foundation is mobile first web design, right? So that is definitely one thing that people get confused of. So a lot of times what we want is on your site. Okay, let's go back to your site. On mobile, you have I believe it's a drill down menu. Okay, or maybe I'm not sure if this is drill down. Maybe it's just a normal menu. Okay, but a lot of people want drop down on desktop and drill down on mobile. So There is a template for that, right? So if you have my free templates, there is a top bar template. There's an RW top bar. Oh, here's top bar, right? And that does exactly that, right? It starts with the drill down menu and it morphs to a drop down. So that's one way to do it. Just start from the swatch, or I'm sorry, from the template. Okay. But let's just go over it from scratch on what we do. So we want a drill down on mobile. Okay. So let's go ahead and drop that in. Okay. And what I can do is actually in top bar, I'm going to turn off the right. So we only have one container here. Let me just go ahead and build out this menu really quick. I'm going to add a sub menu, and then we're going to add a menu item. Okay. Boom. Okay. We'll just make us. Okay. So there's our drill down menu, right? Now drill down, unfortunately, in edit mode, it makes everything kind of big. So what we can do is we can actually just say hide submenus. So, and that hide submenu is just inside edit mode so that it makes it a little more user-friendly, okay? So we have our drill down menu. So let's go ahead and preview that. So this gives us our drill down menu. Nice. But we don't want a drill down menu on desktop, right? We only want it on mobile because that works well on mobile, right? It works well. It gives us the type of menu that we want, right? Okay. But so how do we transform that to be a drop-down menu on desktop? Okay. So let's go ahead and we can do this transform. And let's say on medium size, so like on a tablet size, we want to transform it to a drop-down. Okay. You see that over here in the settings? We have a transform option inside the drill down stack, the drill down menu stack. And we can choose transform it on medium to a drop-down. Let's do that. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Another thing we need to do is good thing. So this did transform it to a drop-down menu, but it did a vertical drop-down menu because drop-down menus can be vertical oriented or horizontal oriented. Okay. So what we want is we want to also make it a horizontal menu on medium. Okay. So we're changing to a horizontal drop-down menu because the reason is drill downs by default are vertical where the menu items are stacked on top of each other. But the drop-down menu that we want is we don't want the menu items stacked on top of each other. We want it to be horizontal. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. So we set in the responsive settings, medium horizontal, medium drop down. Now we preview. And that's what we want, right? So now we have our drop down menu. Okay. And when we size it down, we have our drill down menu. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that helped out. Okay. Cool. Okay, so there we go. Hopefully that helped. I just noticed or maybe that was a refresh thing. See, this is darn Facebook, man. I see you have a Facebook widget stack here, and Facebook, those are tough. These embeds. I want to try to might need to make that a little larger. I don't know. If you notice it gets cut off, I just noticed that. And unfortunately, I think Facebook has like a minimum width option, which kind of blows. Twitter works really well. I actually like the Twitter. I assume this is O-embed actually. O-embed gets the Facebook embed code. And I think what's going on is Facebook is trying to be smart. And they're like, oh, look, I see you're on a desktop browser, and they don't really react to the width very well at all. Interesting. I wonder. Here, let's just look at that really quick. And this is the iframe here somewhere. Oh, it's not even an iframe. Like they do. Like, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Shoot. they like create a whole div. And they make it, they add like inline styles to this thing. See, it's 623 pixels wide. Why? Oh, there's the iframe. They have a width of 552 pixels for some reason and a height of 1,000 pixels. Yeah, see, they're setting the height inside their document, like, or the width. Man, that sucks. I wish they wouldn't do that. Not sure there's anything we could do there. I could try to play around with it a little bit, but yeah, it looks like Facebook just wants to be wide. Just wants to be wider. Okay. I don't know. People can still read that, I believe. I'm not sure how much of that content's getting cut off. I'd be interested to find that out, but it is still usable. But yeah, it's something I just noticed right now. Okay. I think we can move on. I don't want to spend too much time. We've got 3 other websites to look at, but I think this is beautiful. I think the color scheme you chose is nice. You have a red accent color. Obviously, black and white is, classic, and the red accent colors pop. It's very readable. You have a lot of white space to kind of let the content breathe. It makes everything very readable. Down here at the bottom, again, you're using the same red color. I think this works. I think you've done a very nice job on this website. Okay. Cool. Next up. Okay. This was from Allison. Oh, let me get my whistle here. Okay. So Allison, I think, so first off, I'm pretty sure you said this is a temporary logo. I truly hope it is. Because, yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you. That's not looking great. Okay. You also said that this font, was chosen by your customer. Is that an image or is it actually a font? Oh, it's an SVG. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Or no, is it? Oh, SVG is a seam that you're using. Okay. And it's kind of covering it. Got it. Yeah. What's that? Oh, that is an H1. Okay, cool. So you are loading it via a font. Fun City Level 2 stencil. I don't know. It doesn't. This font to me, this is for looks like a lawyer's website, right? For a agency, and I don't know, that font does not scream I'm a lawyer to me. Okay, I know that I'm gonna put my businessman hat on really quick, or my hat, right? I don't know. I think sometimes as web designers, we need to, even if our customers request something, Anthony Grant, I'm not sure, I'm assuming maybe he's the customer, or maybe you're dealing with Sandra here. They're like, I want to use this font. Well, they're great lawyers, I'm sure, but you're the web designer. They're not a web designer. And this font is not that is not a lawyer's font. Right? A lawyer, you think of something like, hard edges or serious, like, or, very business-like. And this font isn't that. It just doesn't fit with the design. I feel, I know you didn't ask for that feedback, Allison, but hopefully that helps a little bit, because this is something that, when you go to the page at the top, like, you want something that's going to capture you, and this font isn't it. I know you did say that the font was requested by your customer, but I think you need to just maybe be a little bit more stern, or maybe show them some other options that makes their website shine a little bit better, right? So just kind of, change the font, show them what the possibilities of how it could look better with a different font. Okay. So there we go. I know you. So your main concern here was, Allison, on how to make this website look better across mobile and desktop. Okay, because on mobile, you were concerned about how some of the layouts were happening. Okay. Now, number one, when you look at this site, let me get rid of my Wrapweaver here really quick. When you look at this site, when you first land on the page, you don't really know what this site is about, right? Especially if you're, let's go to, let's bring up the responsive dev tools. Let's go to develop. We'll go to enter responsive design mode. Okay. And let's look at it on an iPhone. So this is what, when someone visits this website on an iPhone, what it will look like, right? And we have no clue what this is. Paladin Chambers, Anthony and Sandra Grant, and barristers. Okay, no clue what. And then we see a menu, a really big menu, right? We see a big menu that has, welcome, services, expertise, cases. There's nothing up at the top that tells us what this is. We have no idea if this is a law firm, what they specialize in. And so yeah, I think that is very important. You need something up here that, the first half of the page that tells someone what this company is. This menu is also really, really bulky. Okay. Yeah, it takes up it takes up half the screen, right? And I'm not sure that's necessarily really, really important, right? A lot of these things. So yeah, maybe, like down here, these are already, these are just maybe like a bulleted list of their services. Like, I think maybe up at the top, you should have like some sort of, like an impact, like Marin had on his previous site that we looked at, where it cycles through and shows these 4 points, right? These 4 points need to be up here. That need to tell us what this company is, why am I here, right? Why should I care about this website? Okay, because all of that data is now right now it's below the fold, right? Below the fold means you actually have to scroll down the website to see any of that. So yeah, you need to show what that, as Erwin just said, a value proposition. That is 100% correct. What value does this website bring to the visitor? Why do they want to stay here? Okay, what about this website is meaningful to me as a visitor? Okay, right now I have no idea unless I scroll down. Even then, I only see a quick list of services that's kind of out there in no man's land. I'm not really sure. It's not even labeled as this is what we do or anything like that, right? Okay. I think these images are. I like the border that you've added to the images. It, a lot of times when you just have a square image on the page, it cannot look great. I think by adding this nice double border, you've actually given it you've framed it a little bit. So good job on that. I think that is good. I think the colors in these images work well with the colors on the site. You do have a lot of brown. I'm kind of jumping all over the place. Talking about colors, you do have a lot of brown here. It's all orange and brown. There's no like opposite end accent color, right? To kind of give a contrast, anything contrasting. You have some white, obviously that is contrasting, but yeah, I'd question the color scheme a little bit. Maybe a third color that, kind of makes things pop a little bit. Here, I know you were a little bit concerned about these little details thing. I think these details, this details component in Foundation 6 is nice. But here maybe something a little bit more elaborate. Yeah, I think this doesn't look good centered. I think, having it here, or maybe an option could be a button, and when you click on it, it can open up a light box that has his biography or something like that. And that would also work on, here, let's exit responsive design mode. I think that would allow, you were also concerned about the amount of content. Like on desktop here, I think these details kind of make sense, maybe more on mobile because it hides that data, right? So that is a good point. Although I wouldn't make this centered. I don't know. I don't think it looks good centered. That's personal opinion there. But on desktop, we have this empty space that we can put something in there, right? So I think that here is a great opportunity to use something like the visibility options that are baked into Foundation 6 to maybe show a summarized version of who Anthony Grant is here. And then maybe you can click on a link that opens up the full bio in a lightbox. Okay. And then maybe on mobile, maybe you don't even need to show that. Like, is that even important at all? Maybe you just show the link, like, more about Anthony. Okay. That can open up a reveal lightbox or something like that. Yeah, that way you can fill in some of this space with some white text, kind of give a little bit of that contrasting color. And then again, at the end you can have, a little bit more. So, don't put all of this text in there, right? Just put, a small blurb about who he is. And if they want more information, they can click on it and read more. Okay. And then you would hide that paragraph for mobile. And then on mobile, you would have just the link that says, more about Anthony. Hopefully that makes sense. Same exact feedback for Sandra. I do like that you have opposite sides, right? So you have, Anthony on this side, and then further down you have Sandra on the opposite side. It definitely gives balance to the page. One thing I did notice is Anthony's image is square and Sandra's is not. I know that seems like a minor thing, but I think keeping sizing and the weight of things being consistent is important as well. So I would definitely do a square crop on her if you're going to do that on Anthony. Okay. So, a lot of this, I think that could work, bring the image a little closer down to her, head, and maybe crop off the bottom. I think you could do a nice square image based on her image as well. Okay. Okay. This looks like it's a seams. It kind of gives it an interesting, unique design. It's kind of out there. And I'm not sure I dig the, down here. Maybe if you were to do that with the orange or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm understanding this particular portion of seams. Maybe it was just a temporary test that you're doing. Okay. Jack Lindbergh says psychology is brown. In psychology, brown is the color of trust, stability. Probably not a bad idea for lawyers. I'm not saying, the brown and the orange, I think that's okay. I just think the, having some accent colors that can make things pop would be a good thing. Okay. So, yes, I agree. I'm not saying change the entire color scheme. I quite like this. Kind of gives that, especially the top. I think this is a wallpaper. You have a texture on there that kind of makes this look like leather. I actually like that. I think that's really nice. You've done a good job there. You did add some drop shadows on the text to kind of make it pop from the top, from that background. I do like that. Especially this background. It definitely looks leather. It definitely gives you that feeling of this is professional service, right? So I do like that. Okay. Let's see. What are some feedback? Not sure Justify text works well either. Oh, I didn't even realize. Is that Justify? Oh, that's Justified text. Yeah. Justified text. I could give it or take it. Here, it's not as bad as I've seen other places. But yeah, I can see that. Justified text is kind of a. Some people hate it and some people don't. So yeah, I tend not to use Justified text myself as well. Just because I think it could throw potentially. Here, I'm not seeing too many of it. But sometimes it adds like really large spaces that are a little funky. So yeah, give or take it. I could agree with that. Thanks, Dave. Someone says, Jack also says, there's no call to actions on the site, right? Actually, there is no way to. I guess at the bottom you have an email form, right? But maybe have are you particularly maybe target a particular customer with maybe a lightbox that opens up after someone's visited the page for a certain amount of times. Do you need this service, A, B, or C service? contact us now. And you can maybe have an option of, just emailing them straight away with a form, or even a phone number, right? Have a phone number listed on the website. I don't see a phone number here at all. Okay. Firms addresses. I just released, my direction stack. If you want to give directions on here as well, or a new stack I'm releasing hopefully this week. You can have a nice map and stuff like that as well, but cool. All caps is difficult for many readers. I don't know. All caps, I think that I'm not sure how difficult that is for many readers from an accessibility standpoint. I'm not sure. But I think that's okay. You do have all caps a lot though. That is true. That is a true statement. Almost all the text that is here, the entire page, is all caps. That is not something I actually noticed. So good eye on that. I think that's good. Yep. Marin says start with three base colors. One being the color suitable for accents, like a call to action. Exactly what I was thinking as well. Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate the feedback. Hopefully, Allison, you see this and this is some help to you. If you like further help, obviously post on Weaver Space, and we'll do that. Okay. I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do this one for next. This actually wasn't mentioned on this post. It was Bill Fleming, who I think is actually here, asked me to do some reviews of this site this morning, since he saw that I was doing some reviews of websites. Okay. So first off, at the top, when you first go to this page, it's tough, right? You have this Autumn Air Company that's right on top of the Autumn Air Company in the background. There's a bunch of, words in the background of this. It makes it really hard for me to focus on any of the content that's actually on the site, because this background image is really distracting. Okay. Yeah, especially that, it's competing with the words. The words in the image are competing with the words that are actually on the website. Okay. So initially, while I like that you have something at the very top, call me now. That's a great call to action. I assume if you click on this, it actually opens up well, shoot, I shouldn't have clicked on it, because now, don't call, cancel. So yeah, that's good. You have a call now button, and that will, dial you. Even if I'm on my Mac, like I am right now, it calls with FaceTime, right? So that is great. I love the call to action right at the beginning. Hey, here's our number right now. Give us a call. Okay. But that background image is really distracting. I think you need to have something different there. Yeah. I think my main feedback about this page in general, is a lot of the images are very industrial, right? I understand. You're showing off the commercial and residential air conditioning units. Those are not sexy, right? Right? It's yeah. They're not. It's an air conditioning unit. It's a block that is metal and has grates, and it's on top of a roof or on the side of a house that is on a place that's probably hidden and has weeds all over the place, right? So I understand. You're gonna have to. Yes, you might have to display those, but you have a lot of areas here, like this top area, this area right here. That I think you can have a little bit more freedom in these areas, and maybe use something that's a little more subdued, maybe a little nicer. Look for I don't know. What provokes an emotional response from people? Like, I don't know, maybe it's a nice clean house, or something that just isn't so industrial for these background images. Go to a stock photo site, find something that isn't rust filled like this right here, right? That's in the background. It's just images really, really are important to a website, right? And if you don't have a pretty image, maybe you just maybe make these a little bit smaller and have some text about it, or maybe just replace them with icons that are like, an icon of, cool air or something, if you want it to be look really modern, right? Another thing, this text, like here, this is a really long length, right? And when you have a lot of text, having a long line like that, it actually makes it more difficult to read. Okay, and because of I think this text, it is a little tough to read because of this background image, right? Maybe if you were to if you really wanted to, maybe make the overlay a little bit more opaque. Maybe add a little drop shadow to the text, or an inset shadow. Could make the text pop a little bit more. Okay, but definitely, like, I would say cut this, like 2/3 of it is the max line length I would go. Having text go the entire length of a web page does make it more difficult to read. Okay, from a typography standpoint. This image is nice. It's, it is that this drop shadow that gets cut off. I don't know if you could find one that's a little bit that doesn't have that. And then lastly, at the bottom, like this purple, I understand. I think you got the red from their red, and then I'm assuming that purple color is their brand color for the cooling, right? I'm not sold on that color for these boxes. It looks very, for me personally, it makes it tough to read, right? Maybe a lot of this data could be maybe, put up into these areas as selling points instead of having it down on the bottom, like in business since 1977. Like maybe you could make that a big thing up here, right? Because that means, hey, you've been in business a long time, right? Obviously licensed, business hours, free estimates. That's a huge selling point. How come that isn't up here in this area, right? People want to know that stuff. They don't necessarily need to see huge pictures of AC units, right? So you need to put some of these selling points up here and make them selling points up here towards the top of the site, right? Free estimates. Like that's an important selling point. I can call this guy, he can come out and give me a free estimate. That's a big deal, right? And you have it hidden down here on the bottom in bullet lists in a purple box that's kind of hard to read. Okay, I think you need to take some of these, definitely some of these bullet points here and point them out in sections on this page, right? Because right now, these 3 sections here aren't selling the business, aren't selling why I should be calling Autumn Air Company. Okay, and then down here, areas we service. This is just screaming for a huge map on the page that shows people where they're being serviced, right? We service these locations and have an image of it, like maybe I'm picturing like a shaded map area. My static Google Map stack kind of does that. If you wanted to like shade the map area, you can provide points and it will shade areas and stuff like that. Or you could just have just a generic map as well. That kind of shows people, oh, hey, you know what? I'm in, St. Peters, Missouri. I see that in this map immediately. I should call this guy because I see my city right there on the map, right? And he services me. Yeah, I'm not sure what other feedback you wanted, Bill. Jack says free estimates. Exactly, right? Their Google reviews are 4.8. Get them on the way. Yeah. Someone says, was there Google reviews, Yelp reviews, right? Get some of those reviews on the website. If you're using Google reviews, I think someone, I forget, I'm dropping his name. He has a Google review stack that actually looks pretty decent. I would check that out. He's posted it on Weaver Space. And if you have Yelp reviews, get some of those reviews. Get even like stock photos of a customer's, of a customer or something like that, and put those reviews right on the site. So just, it could be a slider of reviews, right? I mean, that's huge because people want to see, they trust you based on what other people think of you, right? So get some of those reviews from Yelp and, shove them on the website. Because what other people say about you is a big thing. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, I've been trying. Yes, look on Weaver. There is a stack out there for Google reviews. It was just released, I think, a few months ago. And it looks really, really good. I can even picture the guy's avatar on Weaver Space. Here, let's find it. I think he posted it to the announcements space. Come on, hurry up. Come on, Weaver Space. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Oh, look, Bill Fleming even asked about Google reviews. Here, Carl. There it is, Carl. RW Pro Dev. It was released in May. Check that out. It looks pretty decent. RW Pro Dev. Yeah. Google review stack. Check that out. I haven't used it, but it looks really decent. So check that out. Carl. Thanks, Carl. If you're listening, if you're here, thank you for that. Looks like a nice quality stack. Okay. Sweet. Okay, we're running out of time. Hopefully that helps you out, Bill. Let's go to Pam. Okay, Pam. First off, I want to say sorry. I know there was quite a lengthy thread on some issues we were having with the sticky menu. I forget what I was head down in, but I was head down into coding something. And but it looks like Erwin helped you out. So thank you very much for that, Erwin. I did make a few notes from that thread, and I'll test and play around with some things and see if we can make some of that better to work out of the box by default. So yeah. Okay. So I don't think this is the homepage. Okay. So I know, Pam, you're really big on the sticky header, and I obviously you had a thread on that. And I don't know. I'll be honest. I kind of don't like sticky headers. Like I don't, especially like big bulky ones like you have, because it hides the web page so much. Like I don't know, yeah, I don't know. I know you want free trials, get pricing, and contact us. Like always there, but like if someone's interested, I don't know. I'm not sure stuff needs to be there all the time, or especially that large. Right. I mean, one thing I'll see if we have time, we'll get into is how we can potentially style things differently when they're sticky. So like when this header becomes sticky, maybe make it a little bit smaller. Right. So, and especially on this homepage, like this homepage doesn't really have much, to be honest. Like there isn't really much here. I don't think the sticky header on the homepage at least does anything for you. Okay. So that's one opinion. I do like the layout, right? This gritty layout. I think that's cool. I do like that. So good job on that. I think the header is a little fat though. But it's not horrible, but it's not my favorite either. Okay. I have noticed I haven't looked into, so let's look into this. It's a little funky when you kind of resize the window that this image doesn't stay within this region, right? And I haven't looked in terms of what you're actually targeting there, right? So here, what is that image? Oh, you're floating the image. Is it? No, wait. What is that? Oh, let me okay. Let's do this. Make this a little bit bigger here so I can see. Okay. So we move it over. That is an image. And you're using I assume a position swatch. Okay. What I would do here, instead of trying to float this, I'm assuming you're using a position swatch for it. Okay. Float center. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would make this image a background image. What container is it in? Another thing I guess you could do is on this container, okay? Oh, not that container. This blue container. Okay, this image is inside this blue container, okay? We want to set that to be overflow hidden. Okay? So if we there is a checkbox for that inside the container stack. But what you'll notice is when you set that to be overflow hidden, that image will get cut off. And I think that's okay, right? As it gets bigger, you see him. As it gets smaller, he gets cut off. I think that's okay. That is a whole lot better than him like floating over the rest of the content. Okay, so that's one thing. That was probably the biggest thing that was bothering me, like that little float thing right there. Okay. So next up is this. Another thing that kind of bothered me is this image itself. If we look at this image, okay, the cropping isn't great. Like you see a bunch of white in his hair, you see a bunch of white in her hair, and then you see the white in her armpit right there, right? Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I did I showed us I think it was remove.bg. Check out this site. Like it does an amazing job, even with hair, of removing backgrounds. Check out this tool. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, and I think I did a demo of it. I'm not going to play with it right now, but check out something like this, and see if you can get a little bit better removing the background from this image. I think it would help as well. Make it look a little bit more pro. Another option is if you don't want to float this this image here, okay, is just to build it into the background image. Right? That way it'll actually scale and whatnot, right? Another thing you could do is as this scaled down, you could adjust the width of that image, because right now it's like a static size. You could adjust the width of that image using a swatch, right? So if you were to go to, let's say, do a width swatch, right? And, you'd give it a class, whatever. And then you would just simply, you can either do max width, min max, or you can do a width setting. Okay. And you could go detailed, and you could do small, medium, and large sizing, or you can do simple. And then you can kind of just do, if you click on this little plus button, a lot of people don't realize that's there. To be honest, I'll probably, I think in an update, I'll just make this so these are visible all the time. So you could just do at width at default on mobile, you could do full width, and then on medium you could do 50% width or something like that, and then large you could do another size width, right? So that allows you to to maybe shrink or grow that image based on the size of the browser. Okay. Let's go. If we go full on mobile view. I think you were concerned about that. So, well, there's a bunch of topic. That's probably just some JavaScript for the menu. Yeah. Oh, oops. All right. So on mobile, okay, you do have a lot, like this blue section is large. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm going to inspect that again. Make it, oops, over here. Let's find that section so I could see what you're doing here. Browser 75. Okay, so you have it set to 75% of the browser height. Okay, I don't know. I think that's a little bit much. There's a lot of space. Another thing you could do is if you wanted, you could increase the size of this text size, right? Obviously, if you made that bigger, maybe you can keep it this size, right? Because I think if this were a lot larger, or let's just go ahead and let's play with that text. so it's not distracting. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's play around with that text size a little bit. So if we go font size is set to 19 pixels right now, right? Yeah, that's not much, right? So let's play around with it. Let's say on mobile, if we were to set that to be 50, 50's it's a little big, but actually, be honest, it's not horrible. Let's like even that, like even 40 pixels. And then if we were like center it, right? Let's do text align center, right? Boom! Look at that. And if we center that 2020 update, like that looks a lot nicer, right? So maybe you keep it at that size, but you just make that text a lot bigger. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And then obviously, with swatches, you can adjust the size of the text, based on the size of the browser window. Another option is if you own my FitText stack. FitText allows you to, here, let me see if I can just open up finding a project file for FitText. 1 second here. Oh shoot, I don't have one. Okay. Well, the FitText stack, what it will do is you can it comes with a swatch and allows you to define a minimum and maximum size for a text. Okay. And actually I have it if I remember correctly. I use it in Hero Header. Do I? Yes, I do. Okay. So let's look at this example here. This hero header here. If you look at this header, the FitText stack will dynamically resize that heading to fit the container. Right? So it'll make sure that it always fits. Okay? So and it dynamically resizes that text for us. So you define in FitText, you define a minimum and maximum value, and then it will go ahead and as you see here, it reached its maximum value, so it doesn't keep going, right? So on and so forth. So FitText is a great option, I think, for this particular layout as well, because you can have this text kind of fill that space for you dynamically based on the size of the container. So that's good. Okay. I liked your site. There are a few other things that aren't necessarily design related that I wanted to talk about with your site. First off, I noticed your URL structure. You don't use index. You name all of your pages. So like your homepage is named home.html. And like if you go to free trials, your free trials page is called options product trials.html. Okay. I don't know. A lot of people do like that. And this is just an opinion thing. But let's go ahead and look at Weaver Space really quick. We look at oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted Weaver Space. Okay. If we look at Weaver Space, okay, main site, you'll notice if we look at the URLs, okay, you notice I don't even have a web page at the end, right? It's weavers.space/stacks. Boom, that's it. Right? I don't need an index.html or index.php. Right? I think this is a better way to go. Okay, and you get this just by simply naming your web pages index.html or index.php. And I know you said you have this is a really large site, and renaming every single page might be a pain in the ass, but it will help you in the long run. Now, why is this better? Okay. I think it looks better a little bit, right? So from a aesthetic standpoint, your URLs look a little nicer because you don't have this index.html thing at the end, right? Another point is, let's say, for example, on this page, let's take this product trials page as an example. Let's say one day you decide to use a stack that utilizes PHP, okay? Your web page needs to be different. Your web page cannot be producttrials.html. It will need to be producttrials.php, okay? And what sucks about that is now all of your URLs, if you add any SEO juice to the HTML page, well, it's going to be a little bad, right? Because you're going to have to now set up 301 redirects to go from the HTML page to the PHP page. Now, if you had done instead, if you had structured your page to do this, now this also, you have product trials as one word. If you were to separate that with a dash, Google would kind of know that product trials is two words, right? So if you were to structure your URL like this, options/product trials/, okay, and then let's say right by default right now it would be index.html. But then in the future, if you were to use PHP, your server would change that to be index.php. But guess what? This URL will still work. You won't lose any SEO juice. You don't have to set up any redirects because index files are kind of magical in that as long as you don't include them in the URLs, it'll magically determine whether or not to use HTML or PHP. It's just magic, right? So I strongly urge anyone, if you're doing websites, name every single web page index.html or index.php. Okay? And I know that if you guys can see, if you look at me really quick, this book is really old. Okay, I wrote this book, back in RapidWeaver 5. I think it was like 2000. I don't even remember what year I wrote this in. Okay, however, even though it is based on RapidWeaver 5, RapidWeaver hasn't changed all that much, right? Stacks has, okay, but a lot of the basics here are still relevant, and like the first 5 or 6 chapters of this book, talk a lot about things like URL structure and why you should use index.html and index.php. And those chapters are still extremely valuable. You could pick this book. It goes on sale. I have no control over the price of this book or where it's sold or when it's sold. I have zero control over that. But if you ever see it go on sale, even the e-version, it's sold by Pact Publishing. You can get it on deals all the time. Pick it up. Because I think the first few chapters, especially for a new user, are very valuable for stuff like this, right? Irregardless of the application itself, the basics of web design haven't changed from when I published this book. Okay, obviously a lot of the screenshots and some of the UI will look more modern now, but a lot of it is still so relevant. So yeah, especially half the book is also on Stacks, which obviously a lot of us use. So anyway, if you see this on sale, don't pay full price for it. I don't think that is intelligent. But if you see it on sale and it's a good deal, I think it still has a lot of gems in it that you will learn good things from. Okay. And I really make like nothing on this book nowadays. So yeah, buy it. I'm just telling you that because I think it's good. It has some good info in it. And you'll learn something. Okay, so product URLs. Let me see if there are any questions on that. How about URLs and links? Okay, so URLs and links. If you were to, if you used index.html, RapidWeaver by default will link to the URL without the actual web page. So you're golden there, right? But again, that only happens if you use index.html or index.php. Okay. Yeah, so don't name your product pages home.html, contact.html, products.html, right? And also if you're using multiple words, use dashes. Okay. Underscores are also acceptable, but I think underscores are more difficult to see. So that's why I strongly recommend using dashes for multi-word parts of a URL. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's see. Next up, that I wanted to talk to you about, it's Pam, right? Pam? I think it's Pam, right? Yes, I believe so. Shoot. Who am I forget. I need to figure out who I'm talking to here. 1 second. Boop. Yes, Pam. Okay, cool. Want to make sure I didn't forget. So Pam, the next up that I noticed, so let's go back to your homepage. Okay, initially when I went to your site, because you linked to the HTTPS version. Oh, oops. What happened there? That's not what I wanted. Okay, boom. So here, I went to HTTPS, and it's ://www.data21.com, and you get this. Okay, this is important. You need to fix this. You definitely don't want this. So I'm not sure what you're using for HTTPS, but yeah, make sure you chat with your host. Make sure that if your host wants to charge you for an HTTPS or SSL certificate, find a new web host because it should be free. They shouldn't be charging you for an SSL certificate. Another option is to use service something called Cloudflare. I've done actually with Greg Barchard. There is if you go to weaverradio.com, I think it's episode 10, I believe. We did a really thorough explanation of SSL certificates and how to set up HTTPS. Yes, it is a podcast. It's not a video. And I think also if you go to my live streams on my YouTube channel, I went over SSL and HTTPS as well. I'm not going to go all into it right now, but you definitely want to fix this. Okay. Because if users go to this, they're going to see this, and especially Apple puts this scary message that they're going to want to steal your personal and financial information. And while I'm sure you guys aren't ever going to do anything like that, that will scare people away. Okay. So you definitely want to make sure that you fix this. Okay. And once you fix that, you also want to fix it so that if anyone goes to the non-HTTPS version of your site, it will redirect them to the HTTPS version of the site. My videos and podcasts go over how to do that as well. Okay. And then another thing is if you go to the non-www version of your site, okay, that works as well. Okay. You don't want that. Now, why don't we want this? Because browsers nowadays are getting very strict, and Google is also getting strict, where data21.com is considered a different website than www.data21.com. Okay. And Google will index them separately. So Google will index your site twice. And why is that bad? Well, that is bad because Google will see that you have duplicate content on the web, and it will penalize you for that. Okay. So what you want to do is pick one. Okay. I assume for Data21, you want to use www. Okay. So what you want to do is if someone goes to non-www, you want to redirect them to the www portion. Okay. Again, I think in the same exact videos where we talk about HTTPS, me and Greg talk about how to do this. It's just a simple htaccess rule. And actually, I think if we want to, I think Greg actually has a really cool site called weaver.tips, I think. Yes, Weaver Tips. And if we search, or if we click on htaccess, he has htaccess rules for going one way or the other. So if you want to force non-dub, or if you want to force dub, and here's the FAQ on how to do force SSL. So weaver.tips. And these are really great little tips. So if you want to force dub, you go here. And yeah, he has the snippet right there. This has also been covered tons of times. If you search my knowledge base, you could probably find it there too. Okay. So those are some non-technical design things that I wanted to point out with data21.com. Okay. I think that was it. Oh, on this page, you have a few pages like that are kind of have a layout like this that are, really big icons, really big text. And I like the big text. Actually, it makes it very, very readable. However, I think you need to give it a little bit more padding for these, because it needs some breathing room, because this text is it's a really text strong page. There's a lot of text here. Also on this particular section, you have everything cut off here, but then everything bleeds to the edge in your 2-column areas, right? So I would keep consistent. I would keep it to this this max width, so that all of the content is kind of in line, right? Also, I think maybe on mobile, like these icons are really, really big. I'd shrink those a little bit as well. And as you see here, there's a lot of breathing room in this area, which I like. But then down here, it goes almost edge to edge for this text on this page. And there's a couple pages that are laid out like this. And I think it would just look a lot better if you were more consistent across your sections and maybe gave it a little bit more breathing room, aka white space, right? So add some more padding in between these two sections. Cool. Sweet. I think that's it. I think we're calling it quits. I do, Pam, while I gave you a lot of criticism here, I do think your site has so much potential. I love the clean approach that you're taking to it. Like everything, it's super, super clean. I love these blue backgrounds, okay, that are attractive. Your sections are just clean white and gray sections. I think they need, again, a little bit more padding. Maybe bring the text in a little bit so that the spacing is more even and more balanced. All in all, I think that your approach to the design is really close to being great. Okay. Just a little of these refinements that I talked about today will make it, a lot nicer. So, cool. Hopefully that helps out. I went a little bit over today, guys, but hopefully that helped out. And thank you very much for those that submitted these websites to be reviewed. Hopefully, you take my advice to heart. I tried to give a little bit of tough love, but not too tough, right? So hopefully you appreciate that. And thank you for being, as someone said, thank you for being brave enough to do that, because I know a lot of people aren't. So thank you very much. Your willingness to share and allowing me to help you will help so many other people. So hopefully people in the future, don't be scared. Just submit. Hey, if you have a question or you're like, hey, you know what? I want my design to be better. Doing stuff like this will help not only you, but I'm sure it will help everyone else, because if you have a question, that same question is thought by probably hundreds of other people. They're just too scared to ask, right? So please don't be scared. We're nice here. We love you. And we want to help you so that we can help everybody. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. New GeoMap stack coming this week. Hopefully I'll actually, after this, I'm going to go eat some lunch and then hopefully start cranking on that so we can get that released by the end of this week. Really cool stack. It's actually turned into a pretty slick stack. So thank you, Renard, for giving me the initial idea for that stack on the community. And hopefully we'll see some of you guys on Friday at the Hangouts, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. You can come in, and it doesn't matter your knowledge level. Some people come in and like Bill Burden. I don't know if you're watching this, Bill, but he started attending a few months ago. He had a really this guy is a stamp wizard, right? He knows everything about stamps, and he's building this website using stamps. And just by attending the Hangouts every week, he's come out and asked some questions, and then he'll go back and tweak some things, and next week he'll come back with some questions. It is a great forum, and Bill has really improved his site over the past few months just by attending these hangouts and getting some live feedback from me and his other fellow Rapweaver users. So it's really exciting. It's fun for me to see and watch and help you guys grow, and I appreciate it. So thank you very much. I'll stop talking your ear off, and hopefully we'll see some of you on Friday. Else we'll see the rest of you next Wednesday. Take care, guys. Bye.